Devin Pinkney. I kind of I'm part of the managerial team. Got Lee Mitchell, Alexandria Harris, she's not here right now, but yeah, that's me. I'm Devin Pinkney. Deep Pink.
My name is Glenn, and I am a rapper and part of Night Meets Day.
I'm also part of Night Meets Day. My name is Chris Mack. I play guitar.
My name is Bias. I'm a rapper. Also do graphic design in the art department. Alexandria Harris.
I just want to go straight from the beginning. Like, how did it come together? How did you guys meet up and decide to start this Wild Ventures?
Me and him used to do film in high school.
C'est
la vie. And we were doing film and stuff, and for a reason I won't talk about right now, we were sidetracked at some point in our senior year of high school. And so I hit up so me and Bias were like, yo, let's start working on some music. And originally it was me and Bias and our friend Doug Hall and Kyle Drew, which is one of the people, or the other person in Night Meets Day with us. And we were gonna do like a roots type thing. And they never got around to it because Kyle Drew's supposed to play drums, and I guess never got around to it. That sounds bad, but that never materialized or whatever. And so me and him started rapping together, and I guess for the first 6-7 months we were a group.
Yeah.
And then we went off to college, and I moved to Athens probably a couple months before he did, or before he started coming down to Athens. And that's when we started rapping separately, and that's kind of how it all came about, and that was in 2006.
Okay. So it started off more as like you guys were getting together musically, and you wanted to kind of promote that.
Yeah.
And then FartherOut was just a way of tying everything together.
Yeah. I had seen Little Miss Sunshine, and the dude had said when
I gotta hear you tie this in.
Yeah. It's funny though. Little Miss Sunshine is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. But I was supposed to go see this other terrible movie actually, Last Kiss, with one of my friends, and she no-showed, so I went to go see Little Miss Sunshine, and there's a scene where homie goes into the wall. I just looked at that picture.
It is so serious. It is so serious.
There's a part in the movie where the kid, where he's still not talking, the son walks in, and Steve Carell just got to the house, and he was like, it's a picture of Niche or whatever, and he was like, FartherOut. And that was like where I got that from. And me and him were talking, and I remember I was talking about something, and I was pointing, and I was like, man, it should be FartherOut, and Tobias was like, that's the symbol right there, we pointing to the sky, because we're from FartherOut, and that's how the actual name came about.
So you get involved.
I mean, from the jump.
From the jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was actually, when I used to write lyrics, he used to pin through them and tell me which ones were good, and like, you need to cut this one. Like, yeah, no, editing, really though, for real, editing.
Yeah, he did not mention this, but Devin, from way back, is a poet.
Okay.
So I mean, lyrically, he is not a novice.
Actually, a really good poet.
Yes.
He was on like a team in New York, like a really good team in New York.
Yeah. So you know, it wasn't just out of nowhere. You know, it wasn't just.
Yeah.
Like
So yeah, there's a reason why he was editing. Yeah. And he was always, and that eventually grew into the manager he is. But yeah, he started out marking through my lyrics.
Like, what's the mindset? Like, well, what's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Or was it not even something that structured? Yeah, I mean, you must have had some idea of what you wanted to accomplish.
I think we were just really making music at that point.
Yeah.
We were rapping. And we weren't even making music. We were just rapping at that point.
Really just rapping.
Yeah. We started actually being in the studio And I'm telling you, it's probably 2008 before we decided, like, all right, let's start making albums.
Yeah.
I think the first part was just we were learning, actually. I think that was the first thing was, let's learn.
And that was really the reason for, one of the big reasons for the split. For the, you know, like, you know, we were a group.
True.
And then we separated because it was like, okay, well, let me figure out what I'm good at. And then let him figure out what he's good at. Because, you know, we were comparing ourselves to, you know, other groups who were, you know, other hip hop groups or, you know, acts. And it was like, you know, it's like sometimes you get around certain people and they don't even know who's who, you know.
Yeah.
You ask a lot of people who consider themselves, you know, into rap, and you're like, name both clips. And, you know what I'm saying, even though they're both good, you don't really, it's like people, you couldn't point Pusha T out of Malice, and, you know, it was like, well, you know, and only now can people point, you know what I'm saying, like, or later on could people point Andre 3000 from Big Boy, whereas during ATLians, you wouldn't be able to, they're the same dude, like, you know, you play ATLians and people can't tell which one is rapping. So, I mean, we were like, you know what would be awesome if, you know, like, really the first plan was like, if we separated, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, as two individual acts, you know, made a large name for ourselves and then came together and did an album together years later, you know, basically like, wouldn't it be awesome if Kanye did an album with Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? It was like, that would be awesome if that happened. Or, you know, if you really liked Andre 3000 and really liked Big Boy, they had never been on track together, then all of a sudden they came together and made an album, you know, how you'd lose your mind about that. And that was kind of sort of where it was going, like, you know, having actually two individual artists with two distinct sounds. And, you know.
Yeah, I said those first few years were just us training, getting
Were you playing shows? Were you actively promoting yourselves? Like, you were...
I had a MySpace in 07, and that's the first publication of FartherOut stuff.
Okay.
And probably the only publication for about a year and a half was just
That's still up?
Yeah, / dope word, man.
Don't know
Dope word. Yeah.
Not sure why it went
dope word.
Hanging around this poetic dude.
Dope word.
Dope word.
It was the two words I used the most at the time. I remember.
Dope word.
I moved to Athens. There's he's actually a journalist in the city. His name is Chris Daniel, and he. I remember when I told him I was a rapper. He was like, all right, if a rapper's going to be around me, and he was a master's student at UGA, he was like, if a rapper's going to be around me, I'm going to make sure he's educated. So he used to feed me books. And me and Tobias, like, this is when Tobias would be spending like half his week at my apartment in Athens. And we would just talk about it. And we would just try to figure out what made classics. And I remember he gave me De La Soul, and he's like, you're going to hate this, but tell me why it is good. And I came back and I was like, because he's expressing his lane as much as he's Tupac expresses, the thug life. And he was like, exactly. And so it really, for that first year and a half, 2 years, I remember we used to write albums. We used to pretend about albums, and we would build albums, but we would never release them. Like New Hope has 15 tracks and linear structure. We recorded not a track. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, so we were just practicing, in all honesty.
I really think that is what it was, because it was purely practice. We just kept training, and it was just training because it was like, why? Like, we need to be better. I need to be better than him. I don't want it to just be like, oh yeah, he's dope. It's like, that's not enough for me. I want to be better than them. I want to be better than everybody else completely.
It sounds like you approached it very analytical. You looked at it from above, kind of analyzed what was going on around you to figure out. I mean, a lot of people, you do that and you kind of maybe learn the rhymes or whatever, but to kind of break it apart the way you guys did, I think is a little bit unique. Was that a conscious thing you guys were doing? Or
it was
just the way it ended up?
What we looked like. In 06, people like us didn't rap.
Yeah.
It's really what we looked like.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, okay, we're going to get made fun of, so we have to rap better than everybody.
Yes.
And it wasn't that we were nerds, it was just that you didn't rap. If you were wearing polos, you didn't rap. You just didn't rap. You were wearing jabots and long tees.
Yeah.
And you're talking about dope. And in 06, we were like, I think that was the biggest thing is, as I remember Young Tay. Remember Young Tay?
Yep.
And how much it was for us to like spit in front of him, be like, y'all are good.
Yeah.
It was huge.